I want to begin today's reflection by telling you about an experience I had while I was serving in the National Guard. During my second large training exercise, I was assigned one day to the kitchen. So when I reported to the duty station, the NCO in charge said that I'd be washing and cleaning the entire assignment. And I would have a battle buddy. And my battle buddy, or the other soldier who was assigned with me, was unknown to me. We were from different units. So we introduced ourselves and we got to work. And over the next 3 hours, we cleaned a lot of pots and pans, we scrubbed a lot of floors, but also we talked about a lot of things. We talked about school, personal interests, our favorite sports teams, how long we thought we'd be in the military. But we didn't talk about our families. We didn't really talk about that part of our lives. So at the end of our shift, we got everything done. Then we started to eat. And we just sat down to eat when all of a sudden we heard commotion coming from the other room. And we couldn't see what was going on. But eventually we heard, "Room attention." And this meant that someone important had arrived in the mess hall. So we both immediately stood at attention. And after several long seconds, we finally heard "at ease," which meant we could go back to eating. So we both sat down, continued eating. But then after a couple minutes, all of a sudden I see a 2-star general coming around the corner. I about choked on my food because at that point in my military career, I had never seen a general up close. I've seen them from a distance, but I really thought he was walking towards me. So I stood back up at attention, but it became very clear that he was not coming towards me. He was actually moving towards the other soldier. My battle buddy then stood up slowly and said to the general, "How are you doing, Dad?" And I was shocked. The general told me to keep eating, and I did. And then I just witnessed a short conversation between a father, who was a 2-star general, and his son, who was a specialist just like me. And they talked just for about probably 2 minutes. And they gave each other a quick hug. The general said goodbye, and he took off. Now, once the general was gone and we had a couple moments of silence, I said to my battle buddy, "Why didn't you tell me your dad was a general?" And he said that he'd never really told anyone about it because he didn't want to be treated differently by anyone in the military because his dad was a general. And then he made the following quip that I'll never forget. He said, "Unlike Jesus, I would prefer that no one knew that God was my father." And this experience came to mind in light of the gospel we heard today, because there's lots of explanations of the relationship between God, Jesus, and us. So let's read the entire passage so that we can truly meditate on what Jesus is trying to tell us. Jesus said to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you always, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot accept, because it neither sees nor knows him. But you know him, because he remains with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans. I will come to you. In a little while the world will no longer see me, but you will see me because I live, and you will live. On that day you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I in you. Whoever has my commandments and observes them is the one who loves me. And whoever loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him." So this passage calls to mind the reality that by the great gift of God's grace, we get to be called children of God. And this knowledge that we are loved as beloved sons and daughters should cause us to act differently. And hopefully this knowledge causes us to think differently about ourselves and this world. Because each of us is special. Each of us is truly unique. We are God's masterpieces. And hopefully, unlike that general son I told you about, we never hesitate to share and witness to anyone that we are blessed because we are daughters and sons of God. That because of the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we have something worth living for, and we also have some good news to share with other people. Because if we did not have the gift of God's love in our lives would be devoid of meaning. So I challenge all of us to take some time this week in prayer to think about how much love is being offered to you and to me because of us being daughters and sons of God. Again, this knowledge is something that should radiate through our lives. And when possible, we need a witness to others how this knowledge has changed our lives. Please know my continued thoughts and prayers for all of you. Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.